Josh.
ManiacsMeat podcast. Okay. Time to bear all things in front of the camera.
We're going over the bare essentials.
Yes, the bare necessities. Here we go. We're talking about Grizzly from 1976, and we're also talking about Prophecy from 1979. There was going to be a little bit of Internet and Movie Database synopsis kind of reading that I was going to do before we did this podcast, just to reassert my knowledge of these films, since I really didn't watch either of them again because I'm a piece of shit. But hey, fuck it. So anyway, basically, we got here. The thing that I really liked about this film, has Christopher George in it. Christopher George became, not at that point, but became like a horror icon after being in City of the Living Dead and Pieces and another film too. I can't remember just right off the top of my head, but a very Italian kind of crazy ass films going on, which is kind of interesting. Like, how do you go from Grizzly and like just the cop films and stuff to being like the Italian weird crazy Fulci guy and Pieces? Because Pieces is a great film.
I think he was just pulling titles out of his hat to join.
But the funny thing is, like, once you hit like Pieces and stuff, I'm not sure if he passed away for some reason, but like the titles just stop.
I don't know. I never looked that up, actually.
No. So Christopher George, we didn't kill you this time.
You may have already been dead.
Mm-hmm. So anyway,
What we got to say about Grizzly, Paul? Other than it's a very special film.
a very special film.
That was a bad one. That was a
Well, I
bad
mean, I got through it barely.
Oh.
That's pretty bad.
Yeah.
Mm.
A lot of viewers tonight, I see.
Well, yeah, good.
So anyway, Grizzly was directed by William Gridler. Am I saying that? Gridler?
Reidler.
And written by Harvey Flaxman and David Shelton. And the budget was $750,000.
Wow.
I wonder where that money went.
Yeah, well, I don't know. Maybe it was a lot of yo, what's up, brother? What about the budget for like the helicopter? There was a fucking bazooka in the goddamn movie. I mean, those kind of things. I don't like. For the little bit of what you saw as far as like graphics go for the killings and stuff like that, I'm sure that cost a little bit of money. But you also had to train and rent a bear.
Yep.
And you had to get permission and rights to film on they have camping areas and stuff like that. So I'm sure, you could actually amass quite a lot of
I would imagine, yeah,
money
okay.
very quick. Basically what happens in this film is a rogue grizzly,
That's abnormally big.
and they don't really explain it, just a big rogue grizzly just kind of comes into this area, marks it as its own, and starts like a killing spree, but in like a serial killer kind of way.
Yeah.
It's not your
very
typical grizzly.
Yeah.
I mean, it kills the one guy just by knocking the building over just to see it die, that kind of thing. And then there are some really interesting film points on this film. One of the film points that's not so interesting is there's no nudity in the fucking thing. But there was at least 3 chances to see some quality old titties. And we did not have. I mean, lesbionics were gonna be filled. If I made this film, that one scene would have been complete lesbionics. I mean, there might have even been like a scat porn scene before the bear came in. But at the same time, that was if I did.
Why stop there? Why have the bear get involved? You know?
I mean,
bestiality. I mean,
it's barely gonna get an XX rating. You know what I mean? Barely.
It got an R rating in Canada.
Yeah, well,
It's PG in America.
It's PG in America. There's no tits. There's barely any violence. Barely.
Yeah, barely.
Oh shit! They're coming out, and I didn't even realize it.
Oh my God.
That's funny.
Rolling with the punches.
Now it's 18 feet of man-eating terror.
2,000 pounds.
Yes, over 2,000
I
pounds.
feel like the schematics add up there.
Let's see. Was it? I'm trying to remember if it was Andrew Prine or Richard Jekyll. You could I think he's a great actor. I think he did an amazing job. But you also can see he kind of got that role because he looks a little bit like Steve McQueen.
Yeah.
I think that kind of looking like Steve McQueen kind of got him some roles. But he did also a great job in the film. He got the bear hug at the end, you know what I mean, that kind of shit. But right when they get into the film, you got this lesbianic scene that they're just hardcore 70s bush dyke bitches, and I'm loving it. But then it shows you it's not this typical bear in the woods film. It rips the fucking girl's arm right the fuck off and stuff. But then you get this great moment of non-acting where the girl comes into the camp and sees the girl and goes, and just runs. Like, no emotion at all. Like, if you can do shock, if you're trying to do like shock, I'm in shock, don't do it if you're not a good actress. Because you just go, ice cream. You know what I mean? Like, there's no emotion at all. And I'll tell you what, she gets beat the fuck out of in those woods more than the Grizzly mauls anybody else in the goddamn film. She's like, and then like a little bit of a shirt's ripped here, but she's just battered and to death with like blood and branches and like, what the fuck happened to you? Did you fall through a fucking effects studio? Holy shit. It was just the weirdest thing. And then she gets into this makeshift cabin out of nowhere and the bear just tears it to ribbons. You know, kind of funny. It's just weird. It's just this weird stalker film. Basically, the way I feel about this film is they saw, hey, Jaws worked.
Oh, yeah. There's definitely a lot of elements of Jaws.
You know what I mean? Yeah, this roaming, where is he now? He has all this space to hide in the unending blue, but also this, 22 million acres land, and they because you have that same serial killer aspect with Jaws.
Very
too.
slasher-esque.
And this one definitely has it. It's a really good film. I like it. It's a little slow at times, but you kind of get a little, except for like nudity and graphic, other things like that. It generally has everything you kind of want out of a film, and I think the acting is always on point.
I think so. I mean, you got to think about the time frame, and it was basically an independent film. It was the most successful independent film in 1976.
Wow.
It earning an impressive $39 million worldwide in the box office. That's pretty impressive for an independent film of 76. And it holds the record for 2 solid years until Halloween broke it in 1978.
Really?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
So go figure. It's actually kind of surprising it doesn't have a bigger following or a fan base.
Right.
I don't really know.
Well, the funny thing is I bought this one, and you can almost see the way it looks. Grizzly. It almost looks like a bootleg because everything's in black and white and stuff. But when you open it up, it's a special edition 2-disc fucking set. Whatever,
That was weird.
It is weird. It's just like you didn't expect that one. I was like, oh, fuck, I bought a bootleg. I'm like, oh, fuck, it's the double feature. I'm like, well, okay, that's cool.
Surprise.
Everything about this film, let's see, it says, the innocence of going to the state park is turned into terror for all as a giant 18-foot grizzly bear has emerged from the woods. Filmed in Georgia, apparently.
Yes.
This film will make you shudder as the power and rampage of the giant bear is released. Not since Jaws has there been anything on screen that will frighten you and shock you like Grizzly.
Ooh.
So right there in the back, they even just say, we basically made Jaws into a bear. Oh, so there you go.
It's funny because if you watch Jaws and watch this movie, they really go hand in hand, especially with the mayor.
Mm-hmm.
Like everyone just
the asshole mayor. And at the end, you get the 3 protagonists there in the dark talking about how they're gonna do it, and they make fun of each other. And I'm like, okay, well that's kind of like the boat scene in Jaws.
Yep.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
it's gonna kind of revamp the Jaws to take place in the woods.
Mm-hmm. Right.
And
I think they did a good job, though.
I like it.
I'll tell you what. When I love that. I mean, the funny thing is when you see the bear going, you just say, "Oh, look, it's not that bad. It's not bad."
They used a grizzly bear and a black bear for that.
Yeah.
They used 2 different bears.
Well, I know some of the walking stages.
Yeah.
But it when the bear rips the fucking horse's head off, I did not
gnarly.
Expect that. Shit!
Head just went flying.
And I'm watching the film, and then they do what the bear says. Like the bear doesn't eat it right then. It puts its victim in a shallow grave and it comes to eat it later. I didn't know bears do that, but I do that with hookers, and it seems to work pretty well. It's a system. And then I was just watching it, and he finally does the shallow grave thing, and I'm just like, oh, just let the bear be right there. Just to fuck you, And then he looks up and he sees the bear. And I like the fact that it doesn't go to another kill. It just goes to that kind of, oh, fuck.
Yeah, he's like,
and it just fades out. I'm like, yeah, you got fucked. That was pretty good. That's a dark comedy kind of aspect that you don't see a lot in the older films. You see that a lot more in newer films because they do realize the sarcasm and the dark comedy aspect of films. And also, those little nuances and stuff can actually be amazingly creative with the rating boards too. You put a little dark comedy into a film, and you'll see how your rating will drop depending on if you move from country to country.
Yep.
To help with the rating boards. But overall, good film.
You know, they made a sequel to the movie that was never released.
I did see that, and no, I was wondering why I never saw it.
A work print is surfaced on the internet, but it was never released. It's called Grizzly 2, The Predator.
The Predator.
Ooh, I'd like to catch that one.
The sexual predator.
Oh,
Bare naked.
That's fucked up.
Mm-hmm. Bears and Twinkies.
Yeah.
Depending on my shaving day, I'm the Twinkie or the bear, but I always get filled.
A separate, unrelated, independent horror film called Grizzly, Killer Grizzly. It's called Claws.
It's called Claws from 1977.
Yeah,
yes.
yeah.
And it's on eBay, not eBay. It's on YouTube. I'm sure it's on eBay.
It is,
but it's on YouTube if you ever want to see it. And generally, if you watch Grizzly, it links it.
They marketed that as the second sequel.
Yes, they did
in Mexico and Canada.
Mm-hmm. But you can see why.
Yeah.
It came out the year after.
I never saw it.
Same thing.
Is it?
I bet you. I never saw it, so it's one of those. The film quality on this one is a little bit more crisp and clean. It has kind of that visual, like realistic visual. The Claws has a little bit more of a skewed color kind of format that I've seen, more that kind of Technicolor kind of a retro vibe. But other than that, it seems pretty good.
This is rated R in Canada. Mm-hmm. But why is it rated R? I don't feel it has an R rating.
They only rated it R because of violence.
Really?
Well, see, the thing is,
it's not that violent.
Yeah.
This is a family fun film. This is you would gather around the TV and have fun with grandma and watch this movie.
Eat some popcorn and
watch some popcorn and watch some Grizzly. Mm-hmm. This is a made-for-TV movie. I noticed that there are ratings, and I mean, especially in Canada. That's such dumb.
Yeah.
By the way,
well, the thing is, they don't want negative stereotypes because Grizzlies live in Canada. And Mounties do dress up like, and Mounties and Lumberjacks generally do drag and have sex with each other when no one's looking.
It does happen.
Yeah, but they don't want that stereotype.
It does happen.
You know, and you have to remember, people, no matter what we're talking about, when stereotypes match facts, they're not stereotypes. I'm just saying.
That's the hard truth.
Boom.
Should we move on to our next film?
Yeah, sure.
All right.
I can barely stand the fucking anticipation.
Oh, they're throwing the bear puns.
Oh, jeez. There's a bear pun in the woods? That's shit.
Savage. So our next film is a very good movie.
Prophecy.
Why did I put 1970 down?
1979. Josh, could you show us the DVD or the tape?
There it is. My fault. I let someone borrow this movie a couple years back and never received it. So the asshole that's maybe watching, thanks a lot. You shafted us.
Hey, remember, friends are just enemies you haven't made yet.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So anyway, we're talking about Prophecy, 1979, directed by John Frankenheimer. If that's not a Nazi name.
That's can I have a more or less German name, please? How about Frankenheimer? That's good one. It sounds very American. That's good. Yes. Hi, Frankenheimer. How you doing?
Hi. Sick hi.
Is that gas I smell? I don't know.
Oh my god.
Oh shit.
Hamazite. Where am I? David Seltzer is the writer and had a budget of $12 million.
I don't get this. Do you get this? Like, this is a $1 million tops budget film.
Yeah, it's got a lot. That's one of those things where I think the money went up the nose.
I was going to say, is this money laundering or cocaine abuse? Or both?
Yeah, there was not $12 million.
I mean, it's not that, it must not be that much money back in the day to rent a couple fake natives.
Yeah, those Native Americans, got a lot of Native American tone to it in the movie, but the Native Americans they show, I think maybe one was actually Native American.
The old guy was Native and the girl was from Hawaii or something. I don't fucking know. I mean, I'd fuck her. I mean, she's dead now, so
it's a good movie. It plays, it takes place in the wilderness and of the EPA, and there's pollution.
Oh, it's filmed in British Columbia, eh?
Bunch of Nova Scotian. Vancouver.
I was gonna say Vancouver's in British Columbia. It's not Nova Scotia.
I just like saying Nova Scotia.
That's Halifax.
That's it. Wonder if they got Tim Hortons there.
Oh, Timmy's.
Little Timmy's, eh?
Little whale tail.
Oh, what you know about it?
Hi, Lee. Fuck you.
So anyway,
he doesn't talk like that, by the way.
Who?
Lee from Canada.
Yeah, Canadian. We're really drifting off, man.
The land of 1,000 lakes.
So anyway, EPA gets involved with some weird stuff going on in the woods.
So there's a factory
Yep.
that is having this weird.
What is it? A paper mill?
Yeah, it has this mercury spill into the water. So high traces of mercury will create giant mutations, which I've never heard any scientific fact of that.
Never.
People used to play, like, back in the day before I went to school. Yeah. They would break open thermometers and play with the mercury in their hands.
Remember those days? I don't.
I almost did, because it was literally, like, right that transition before I got old enough to play with mercury. But, like,
What a time to be alive.
yeah.
Where were we?
Hold up. We'll genuflect on the old days in just a bit. I'm waiting for this. But yeah, the mercury spill just causes great mutations. Now, one thing with the $12 million budget, I feel gypped, because I really would like them. They talk about the mutations, and when the duck just gets sunk under the water, when the guy's in the boat, I love that. But they could have made more mutations, you know, like he's like, oh, look, salmon that are 5 feet long. I'm like, that's not that long. You know, I mean, like, if you were making some crazy mutation, you'd say, like, a 15-foot salmon. Then that would
Two heads.
With 2 heads and a horse cock. You know, that kind of thing would make it a little bit more interesting, you know? And if you could actually sew these fucking abominations, it'd be crazy.
Oh, my God.
Now, overall, what do you think about the selling point of this film, The Bear?
The bear could have been better, I feel. And from what I read online, there was actually a prototype they made that was more badass. Mm-hmm. And they settled for, I'm guessing, the cheaper version, slimmed down version.
Would you think that prototype that they made that was really badass was the prototype that they showed at the end of the film as the scare? Because
I don't know, because I don't know what the prototype actually looked like.
I don't know, because that skull-faced fucking demon at the fucking end of the film looked way cooler than the fucking bear.
They probably should use that. Maybe use
that, yeah, exactly. You know? Or they just spent that $12 million on that.
Just on that,
and then just wrung the rest of the movie with shit they found.
That was, you know.
Well, here's the thing that I just always have a problem with. If this shit is in the water, the things in the water would get affected more than the things on the land that just randomly drink the water, right? So why isn't there this octopus, Sharknado-looking salmon in the film, too? Like, why is the bear the only thing mutated like that?
Well, that was always my question about the movie. It was... I don't understand why it was just the bear. And the bear's youngling.
Like, yeah.
The bear was also Yingling longer.
Yins, as they say in Pittsburgh.
The Yings.
Yins.
Is there a scientific name for baby bears?
Yeah, baby bears.
Okay. Why wasn't the baby, or why were only the baby bears and the mother retarded?
Yeah.
Where were the crazy mutated walking fish? And
why weren't they getting SSI if they were retarded? There's so many questions.
I have a lot of questions.
I've never really considered it. I never looked at them as retarded bears.
Why is it
deformed or like mutated? And he throws out the word retarded. I was like, never thought about that. Maybe just see that big fucking bear in like that driving shopping cart at Walmart. It'd be kind of similar to the other fucking weirdos I saw on those carts.
Bears of Walmart.
The Bears of Walmart.
I think John Frankenheimer
I think Bears of Walmart would almost like match that dating site I wanted to start for fat people called Plenty of Forks.
Ooh.
That was good.
Would I qualify? I think John Frankenheimer needs to give us some answers, asshole.
Yeah. John.
Where are you?
Where did that money go?
Talk to us, bud. I want to know.
And the thing is, if it was it 12 million Canadian dollars or 12 million American dollars?
It just said $12 million, and I would imagine that if I looked it up here in America, I would say $12 million here in America.
Because $12 million in America in the 70s was like $50 million in Canada. So what in the fuck happened here?
So let's give them the benefit of the doubt and say they used American money here.
No, that's.
All right, we're going backwards.
Yeah, let's pretend they used Canadian money, and that means this film was made for $13.12.
You could just pay
which makes sense.
You could pay them in Tim Hortons.
Yeah, free coffee and whale tails. Was Tim Hortons even a thing back then?
I don't know. I don't
know.
it.
You just like saying, "Oh, looks like somebody went to Tim Hortons today."
Tim Hortons.
A little too much icing on the taco.
Oh.
Okay.
All right. So yeah, it was filmed in British Columbia. And the film was shot under tight security. No visitors were allowed on sets, including studio personnel, trying to keep everything under taps. That's right here. They hired a retired CIA agent.
Did you say retarded or retired?
Retarded.
He was the bear. Let's just film this guy. Look at this fucking.
They
asshole.
hired a retired CIA agent.
There we go. Hey, we got this.
To
Barely.
supervise and the security. That's probably all their budget was the security guy.
Yeah.
I can't imagine it's probably cheap to pay someone from the CIA.
You couldn't got a mall cop or something, or just like, you know, this guy was a Mountie because they have them in Canada. A retired, no, CIA guy. Sure. They justify their jobs.
Kevin Peter Hall played the sausage-looking bear in the
Predator.
movie. Yeah, who also played Predator in the second film, and
Harry and the Hendersons.
Harry and the Hendersons. The Bigfoot, Harry. So he's a tall African-American fellow, if I get that correctly. He is black, I think.
Yes. That when usually they're that brown, they're usually black.
He was a basketball player, I bet.
He was a badass motherfucker.
Oh, we're gonna get emails on this one.
He's a good guy. I like him. You know, as long as he stays at work.
So what would you? So I mean, do we have any more to talk about this movie?
Well, I mean, let's talk about some of the murders and deaths and kills.
Okay.
And then you have to understand, like, Sigmund Freud is like the hero of the film somehow. I don't understand how that worked out, but there you go. You know, it seems interesting. He's looking at all this, like, I don't know why he was there at first. At first, he was a doctor, obviously taking care of families and stuff, and he was taking care of the infant at the beginning of the film.
Yeah.
Going through, he's there just fishing, looking at a duck, and he turned around and go poof, and what the fuck was that? You know, and then all of a sudden he's got all this Geiger counter shit working on. He's taking notes back like he used to, like Captain's log. You know, shit's fucked up. You know what I mean? Like, and it's kind of interesting. And then he starts correlating everything. I actually thought it would be a little bit more dramatic too, because the owner. I actually like the scene when they got the plant owner there, and he's like, you know, did you know about this? Like, what? Look what you just fucking did. And he shows him the muted baby. He's like, I didn't want to know, and now I do know. I'm not very happy, but I thought he was gonna like, you know, I was like, well, that would have been dramatic. But he got ripped in half by the bear while he was scooting under the fence. That was good too, but it would have been better if he just like.
That was pretty.
You know.
Yeah.
You know.
The bears were cute. The baby bears were cute, mutated. I would like to have one.
Looks like my kids.
I didn't say that. What would you rate the film? I'd say overall. I mean, come on, like really?
It's trash.
Oh well, that's why we review it.
Well, yeah.
We don't talk about those bandwagon films on here.
I
mean, like, come on. It's PG in America.
I kind of like how the old guy in the film kind of like walks in like, hey, I brought this bear with me. In the one scene, he's like, like, I know the guy's like, huh, wow. Like, he's not happy about it, but at the same time, he's like, cool. Because he like brings it with him almost, and like they fuck everything up. And then he like tries to like talk to it later, and then he's just like, he's just like, no. I don't understand like how they're like in the middle of a lake swimming, and she's standing there saying no. I'm like, you're like in like 10 feet of water. How are you doing that? Like,
yeah, aren't they worried about the 5-foot salmon?
Mm-hmm. And then the 5-foot salmon that's basically gonna suck your nuts out of your eyeballs. Yeah. And then they go through that long stretch where you don't get like the payoff you want. The bear's like, it's the most unarticulate bear I've seen in my fucking life. It just stands there going, you know, and then starts waddling into the fucking water and just gets lower and lower and lower. Like, did it drown? Is what's going on? And then you start seeing random bubbles. I'm like, build up. And the one guy's still in the water. Mm-hmm. So you think he's just going to get pulled the fuck down by something, and then come up all slaughtered and, you know, all this stuff like that. But no, he just, I'm back. Oh, Barney's back. Great. Let's get on the big gay couch. And then, you know, and then everybody just runs away and the film continues. And there's a lot of that. There's a lot of just this kind of like, is that the best thing you can think of?
That should be the...
I wasn't this critical on this film until I saw that it was fucking $12 million, if you know what I mean.
Yeah. That's kind of a shame. All that money gone to waste.
Like, I thought it was going to be like, you know, $300,000 made the film. Now, I like this, you know, but shit.
They had almost a Hollywood budget. Like, I mean, where'd it go?
Yeah. And could they have literally just toned down the suit to fit the guy's body a little bit more fluently and look better? You know, and like almost have
It was
like
baggy.
like have the bear fur, but almost like draping off him, like it's rotting off his flesh and stuff like that. So you could have a little bit more like bear skeleton.
Why didn't they just use the prototype?
Yeah.
They say it was so cool.
Yeah.
I don't get them.
I mean, I'm so disheartened it actually ruined my coon joke.
Oh.
Yeah. Because that rabid coon, he was a bad son of a bitch.
He was.
He was actually the highlight of the whole fucking. I mean, that was action packed chaos.
Yeah.
That raccoon
just
was
shaking in front of the front door like.
Whoa! Holy shit! Like I actually had a raccoon or something come in my house one day because I was always coming in here at night. And I have cats outside, you know, and then the cats always try to run in the house. And you pick the damn cat up, you throw it the fuck out. You know what I mean? And I'm just, one day I was coming through here. I mean, I also had a bear in my kitchen and I kicked it in the asshole. But,
really?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
And then
I'm walking around out there by myself.
Yeah, I know, yeah. And I woke up naked and came out here. And I'm bear, he's bear, and I kicked him in his asshole. But I kept on coming through the door, and I was like, picking up the cat and throw it. You know, it was just a normal thing. And I picked up this one thing, and I picked it up and chucked it, and I just shut the door. I'm like, my hand was a little greasy, and I was like, that was pretty heavy. I don't think, it felt weird. I was like, that wasn't a fucking cat. What the fuck was that thing? It was a big fucking raccoon or something.
Oh
just picked the fuck up, chucked the fuck, get the fuck out of here.
Fucking Grizzly Adams.
They're fun like that.
Wrestling bears naked in your fucking kitchen.
Mm-hmm.
Throwing raccoons to the wolves.
If he would have consented, it would have been more than just kicking, if you know what I'm saying. Bear and Twinkie. Just saying. But anyway,
so what do you overrate? Let's
get to brass tacks here.
Brass tacks.
Brass tacks. I think it's like a 6.
You're being generous.
Yeah, I am. I was gonna say 5, but I'll give it a 6.
I'm gonna go for the throw and go for the 5.
You're gonna go through the throw?
Go for the 5.
Well, 5.
What about Grizzly? Where you rate Grizzly?
Oh, I like 8. I think 8. I think Grizzly's great. You just don't expect like. See, the thing is, if someone with the same conceits like made Grizzly today, it would not be the same film it is then.
No.
Because we have different aspects and projections and perspectives. But for what it is, and I do believe it was trying to get that PG-13 rating for the billboard so it could get mass produced and shown at other places, and it did succeed. Yeah. So it did its job right.
No, it did good.
I still think it's an 8. Like, I think it's a good film.
I'll give it a 7.
Yeah, but that's okay. 7, 8, so 7.5. 7.5 out of 10. That's not a bad score for Grizzly. At least I can show you the artwork. There you go.
Sorry, everybody. If you want to see the poster and the artwork, go to our Instagram page. You can find it there.
ManiacsMeat.
You know that. There. Give us a like and a subscribe and a hand job. And did I say that out loud?
So?
Sorry. My mom's watching probably.
Oh, it's all right.
That's weird.
Maybe she does hand jobs.
No, that's fucked up.
Oh.
Oh, god damn. Justin's boosting it. So, all right, anyway, so is that it?
Hey, you set it up.
Yeah. Sorry, everyone.
Yeah, I couldn't bear letting that go.
I thought this was a family show.
It isn't. Some of the stuff we say makes families and tears them apart.
It happens.
Hey, whatever.
Anyway, so that's it. That's all we got. Tune in next time.
Are you ending the show?
Do you want to keep talking?
Sure.
We're already on 25 minutes, I think.
Well, this is where I go. Well, guys, if you like the show, you want to tune in next time. Check us out later. We're going to be back again for Slasher Sunday coming up. Lee Russell, Things on the Podcast, gives me pause. Oh, gives him pause sometimes. Look at that. Being went for the bear pause.
Ow.
Yes. Cheers, Lee. If you want to show us up, 7, 4.
What are you talking
Sunday.
about? Oh,
We're doing
Slasher Sundays, guys. It's a good one.
Do you want to show them what it is? Or
No, they'll have to tune in.
You have to tune in.
You tune in. It's special. There's no puns we can use for this one.
No, unfortunately.
Oh, sorry.
And I don't even think it's going to be very long. But it's going to happen. And make sure you look out for King Gnome Strong.
King Gnome Strong
Yep.
will someday be here present.
Mm-hmm.
For those who don't know King Gnome Strong, check our Instagram page out.
Instagram. ManiacsMeat.
You will know all about him.
This has been Paul.
And Josh.
ManiacsMeat Podcast. Check us out on Sunday. And after this, 2 more weeks. Next Friday, live, 7:30. This time. This Bear channel. This Bear podcast. This Bear time. Bear with us.